feel about the 30th anniversary?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, even though it has been 30 years, it feels like yesterday.
Oh.
And when I look at the audience, even though they're older, they look the same. You know, I think you don't really notice the 30-year space. I mean, I don't. And when I look at my surrounding, everything looks pretty much the same. But there has been going on a lot, even though it seems like yesterday. You know, there are lots of details, and it has been quite a journey.
Michael and I have not kept in touch for a long time. Absolute truth. But there was a situation in actually Germany. I was actually like working with Michael Voss, doing the silver, and then I did a couple of like solo albums, and then there was this actually one track I wanted him to actually play lead guitar on, and at that time that was crossing over the 25 years of like MSOG, like anniversary album, and he said, "Okay, Gary, if you play like this song actually with me," which was like like a Pretty Vacant song, whatever it's called, and then I said, "Okay, Michael, like if you could play on As You Let Me Down, it'd be great." And it worked out quite well. We met each other again after like 25 years. And we shook hands, and I think actually worked out quite well because we come up to this actually point again. So yeah, looking at each other with like different eyes, which is very good. Yeah.
We started off. We met actually back in 1980, which by my calculations is, hang on a minute, about 30 years ago. And we met in a rehearsal room in London with the idea to rehearse songs for the first MSG album. I don't remember, we only did a day or maybe 2 days, and then we were in the studio and we spent about maybe a week. It's a long time ago, so it's hard to really remember, but about a week playing all those songs that became MSG and that record, which became kind of, I don't know, like an almost an encyclopedia of heavy metal, you know. People, even 30 years later, still bring that record up to me all over the world to sign, you know. And it's great, the songs were really good and they've stood the test of time. That's how it started.
I'm not really sure why I was asked to do it, the album In the Midst of Beauty. I kind of get the feeling that maybe the producer, Siggy Schwartz, and Michael had the idea to go back to the original lineup from his first solo album, which was Simon Phillips, Don Airey, Gary Barden, and Mo Foster on bass. And maybe they thought, well, let's try Neil instead of Mo, so that it was almost the same as the original from nearly 30 years ago. And you know, the album was made like many records are these days, where each person does their own parts individually. You don't play together as a band, so it's just the economics of the situation. So I had to go to the studio in Germany and put the bass on and hope that it was okay. I mean, but I would prefer to play together in a group situation, but you know, maybe next time.
The Flying V itself, because I stuck with it all the time, and then at some point I had white Flying Vs and I had black Flying Vs, and sometimes I couldn't make up my mind, black or white or black, and then I went like, hey, maybe I should paint one black and white, so I have, you know, both colors in one, and that's how the black and white came in. And so kind of without planning anything, it's just one thing led to the next. And then there was, and because I keep, you know, the same guitar all the time and, you know, the same image, so it becomes some kind of an imprint, you know, I think. And which I didn't know when I started it, but now when I look back, I can see that it's like a symbol kind of a thing, you know. But again, it's like, it only happens because if you can think, if you have no reason to change, because if it works, don't fix it, you know, then it becomes part of you, and so it creates that whole combination. What songs?
Yes, good songs.
I did, I was about 9 years old. I was listening to anything that was in the commercial radio, from the Shadows to the Beatles, to anything that was in a hit parade, to the Rolling Stones, whatever was there. I learned all of the, you know, the hits. And when I was 14 years old, it was really, so that was like after, you know, like 4 or 5 years. I was about 14 years old. That's when, you know, bands like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and all of these people started making the sound that I went, wow, wait a minute. Now this is business. Yeah. Now we are talking. And so that was really when I knew I was, you know, doing the right thing, playing guitar. But now I had a jump start, a real jump start, which was that I knew immediately that this is the way to express yourself, you know, with that kind of guitar, with a distorted amplifier that gives you so many different ways of doing things, bending rhythmically, this and that. There were so many different ways how to put emotions into sound, you know, and that was it for me. I was very excited about it. That was always my wish. I want to be able, you know, like people like Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page and those people, they created, when I listened to them, they created, I had goose pimples, you know, a great feeling. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing, you know, and that was my goal, you know, to be able to get to the point to create emotional music to such a, you know, level that it would affect people in a good way. How do I feel about it? Some steps were too big. Like, for instance, I had an offer to audition for the Rolling Stones. That was too much of a step. I couldn't deal with that. I asked my brother what he thinks, and I was a bit scared because that Brian Jones just died, and I thought there was some weird stuff going on, and I kind of, I was too young, too sensitive, and too fragile to deal with that kind of I don't think I was born to be in the spotlight like this. You know, it's not really my life. I never went like, oh, Mom, I must be in the spotlight. I want to do this. In fact, I don't like it, you know. But somehow I ended up exactly where I didn't want to be, which was on stage. It's not my place, but I guess there's a reason for it. Maybe it's to develop certain things as a human being. I don't know. But it's funny, though. Is, you know, that I ended up where I didn't really want to be because it's not me, you know. I prefer to create in a, you know, like in a back room, create something by myself and come out with a nice design of something. Like, I like to go out and perform Michael Schenker classics, you know, where I play all the highlights of my career and put a special band together for that. That is like one project. Another project is Schenker Brothers, to do something together with my brother. And, you know, and maybe again, you know, tour together and play Scorpions and UFO and MSG and stuff like that. Obviously is a tool that allows me to express myself. And so, therefore, I have an outlet, and if it wasn't a guitar, it probably would be something else. It could be a football. I like soccer, I also like drums. So if it wasn't the guitar, it would be the drums. I don't think it's important if it's the guitar or the drums or the football or whatever it is. I think it's important to find something that you enjoy, that you can channel your emotions and your energy through. I think that's the important part.